Welcome and welcome back. If you've been here before, I am so glad that you're here. And I have been working through a series about sabbaticals, why you should take them, all about my own sabbatical that I took in June of 2024, traveling around Europe for 4 months. And I'm excited to talk about a sabbatical and what to do now that you've decided to take your sabbatical. So I have some notes up and I'm going to dive right in and share a bit more about the steps to taking a sabbatical. So first up, figure out the type of sabbatical that you want or that you need. Are you going to use this time to devote to a creative project? Are you going to use this time to travel and have some downtime and just be and just explore? Is there a part of your life that you want to give undivided attention? Are you going to take a sabbatical and maybe go to like a wellness retreat? So think about the type of sabbatical that you want. That's first. The second thing is, we've talked about this in another video. So definitely, if you want to unpack this one a little bit more, you can check out my previous video and I'll drop a link to it in the description. But define your why. Are you taking the sabbatical because you want to just focus on a creative project? Do you want to think about your own personal reinvention? Are you taking it for just maybe downtime to explore, to travel the world? Ask yourself, I want to feel blank. I want to explore blank, and I want to become. So don't think about I want to do. Think about, ask yourself the questions, like I said, how I phrased it. I want to feel, I want to explore, I want to become. And that will help you to define your why a little bit better. The other thing is define your timeline. Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be 3 months? Is it going to be a whole year? Is it going to be longer than a year? Define your timeline and how much time you think you need for your sabbatical. The next thing is fine tune your finances. Probably the most important part of it, in my opinion, is you want to figure out how you're going to fund your sabbatical. Are you going to take a part-time job and take the earnings from that and put it in an account to fund your sabbatical? Are you going to tap into your investment or your savings that you have now? Are you going to still work, but you're going to scale back to part-time, or scale back to just project-based work while you take your sabbatical and not like full-time employment? And how long of a break works for your finances and your family obligations. So these are things you want to think about. When I did my sabbatical, I had made a decision at least a year, I think it was a little bit more than a year prior to the sabbatical, that I wanted to do this. So every extra money that I had that was separate from what I got in my salary, I put it in an account. I put it in a high yielding savings account to be able to fund my sabbatical. I also looked in my monthly expenses, what could I reduce? So one of the things I could reduce was no longer getting my lashes done, getting my nails done, more spaced out in time, so that I wasn't, spending as much and going like every 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 5 weeks. I was stretching it out to like 6 weeks. But I definitely cut off getting my lashes because that was pricey. That was like $100 to $140 every time. But look where you can cut your monthly expenses. Also in the year leading up, I didn't travel. I really reduced my social budget in terms of like what I spend on restaurants and different things like that. I brought that down to basically zero, and I really just ate at home. I also was working from home at that time, so that also helped me to reduce my expenses as well. So those are some ways to think about the financing piece of it. I'm also going to talk more about finances in a separate video. That's probably going to be the next video I do about the sabbatical. And the other thing is, what is your life infrastructure type of plan? Where are you going to live, or what's going to happen to your place? And are you going to put things in storage? What happens to your insurance? So, for example, with me, my car is paid off and I only needed to think about my insurance. So I called my insurance company, told them that I was going to be out of the country for, the time that I was going to be out of the country. And that I was able to negotiate and get like a very, very low monthly cost for my insurance. I was hoping I was going to get zero because I wasn't going to be driving the car, but I still had to have some type of coverage on it. And so I was able to get like a very low amount. I think it was like maybe $50, $45 or something like that. So that helped me. I didn't have car payments to think about. So that's something to think about if you have car payments, what you're going to do about that. At the time I was going to be, at the time that I was going to start my sabbatical, my lease was up for renewal and I wasn't going to renew that. So that was another way that I was going to not be paying for like be living or having housing in two places. So I did that. I know sometimes some people sublet their apartment or, they sublet out and have renters come into maybe their home that they're paying a mortgage on to be able to cover it. But you want to think about, your life infrastructure plan. Are there any subscriptions that you can pause or just get rid of while you are on your sabbatical? I had moved another way that I had helped with my finances was that I got rid of everything that I had in storage. I either gave it away or I either gave it away or threw it out. So I got rid of my storage, and so I really only had a few things, and I was able to keep it at many of my like my parents' home or my sister's home. So that was helpful for me. So think about that. If you're gonna maybe downsize and then you do want to keep your things, maybe you can move it into storage. So that's also an option. Instead of keeping your place, you can move it into storage until you return. But you want to think about like the whole infrastructure of your life, like what's going to happen to that when you travel. The other thing to consider is health stuff. So that's always important to me. So what I did was I knew I was going to be taking some time off. I knew I was going to be traveling. So I made sure I used my insurance to the max. I made sure that I got all of all the physicals and screenings and things that I need to do. I made sure that I had all of that scheduled. If I needed additional medication, like I, wanted additional, allergy medicine, I made sure that I let my doctor know that I'm going to be traveling and I'd like to have an extra, be able to have refillable prescriptions of this particular allergy drug that works for me. So you want to get extra prescription medications. You want to talk to your doctor, like I said. Some of the places I was planning to go, but on my sabbatical, I ended up not going. I needed additional immunizations and stuff, so I made sure I had gotten that before I started my sabbatical. So you want to make sure that you are getting all your health appointments in, all your screenings in. You want to make sure that you are doing all those things before you start your sabbatical. The other thing is set a date, put it on the calendar. I knew that I was going to take a sabbatical, like I said, at least a year out, at least the year before I knew that. And I put the date on my calendar, and every day I would look at it. I'm like, I'm telling you, I can't wait for this day to come when my sabbatical is here. I would also have these mini milestones that I would celebrate, like, oh, I bought my ticket. I bought my one-way ticket to Greece. I got that out of the way. Like that was also like one of the things that I did that would keep me motivated. Every time I did something towards that, whether it's like bought a new suitcase or went through my closet and really cleaned my closet and got rid of the things that I don't need and only kept the things that I do need. Like I knew that like every time that I would look for ways to like just reduce all the stuff that I had, like that was getting me one step closer to being on my sabbatical. So set the date, put it on the calendar, and set up mini milestones that's leading to your departure date for your sabbatical. The other thing, actually, I wanted to go back to this about the finances piece. Something I should have mentioned before. Another thing with the finances that I want to mention is I started to look for travel cards maybe a year and a half before. because I wanted to get a new credit card that would reward me with lots of travel points so that much of my flights and travel could be booked through the travel card, and that I would get like maybe 70 to 90 to 100,000 points for signing up. So for me, that card was the Venture X Capital One. So yeah, about a year and a half prior, maybe even 2 years actually, prior to my sabbatical, I got that card and I made sure that I spent the amount that was needed to give me like the 80,000 miles. And then I continued to use that card for every single thing. And so by the time my sabbatical came around, I had well over 250,000 points. Like like I had so many points. Like most of the stuff that my travel, my lodging, most of the bigger ticket items for my travel came from my points. So that's also another way that you can really think about financing your sabbatical. Okay, next thing is communicate your plans to your loved ones. And so, share with the people that you love and trust that you will be taking this sabbatical. Let them know where you're going. If you do have an itinerary together, at the time when I took my sabbatical, I knew where I was starting my sabbatical. And when I got there, I decided where else I wanted to go. So I didn't have an etched in stone itinerary. I just wanted to bop around as I freely please. And so that's what I did. But always let your loved ones know where you're going, where you're staying. Like I would share that with my family. I would constantly talk to them. I'd be on FaceTime with them to show them where I was, and just share my experiences with them. So communicate with your loved ones. It's smart and it's safe to do that. Oh, yes, this one's really important. Capture the experience. So, during your sabbatical, you're going to have so many aha moments, and it's so much growth that I think that also happens for you personally. So, definitely capture that. Take pictures, leave yourself voice notes, journal, like really capture this whole period in time for you, because there's just so many ahas, so many realizations, and it's such a real reconnection back to your true self, I would say, and your true nature, that you want to remember that. You want to remember that, where if you ever kind of need your North Star again to kind of guide you and guide you back to yourself and what you really want and all that sort of stuff, capturing that experience through journaling, voice notes, even vlogging about it. I always wish that I kind of, focused more on my YouTube when I was traveling and captured it, because it was just such a great moment. And when I actually look at like videos on my camera that I didn't post on YouTube, I was just like, oh, the moment it just takes me back to that moment. So capture the experience. You absolutely want to do that. The other thing is have a re-entry plan. Have a plan for when you come back. Do you want to continue doing the same work that you're doing? Do you want to pivot? Do you want to live somewhere else? Like have a re-entry plan and have an idea of what you're leading towards as it pertains to that. Like for me, when I came back, I was like, oh, I really think I want to start my own business. That's what I really want to do. And so really lead into what your reentry plan is. You don't want to have this like panic towards the end of your sabbatical. You kind of want to have a plan in place. If you want to go back to your the same type of work you were doing, your same type of company, maybe you can set that up with them where you can let them know you're taking a sabbatical and you'll be gone for 3 months, 6 months, a year. But you will return, and what would be the proper process to apply to get back into the company. You can do that. You could also have a game plan in terms of like your job search when you come back, connecting with former colleagues and mentors and letting them know that you're back, and all that you learned and that you acquired from your sabbatical that you feel now is applicable and makes you even a sharper and even stronger version of yourself and stronger professional. There's definitely a lot of angles there in terms of why somebody who has taken a sabbatical, particularly one who's taken a sabbatical and traveled to overseas countries and have lived in those countries for a period of time, that type of worldview or expanded worldview is very, very much a benefit to the company that you choose to work at next. So capture the experience. And then the last one that I had was definitely have a re-entry plan. So I hope some of these tips were helpful for you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And if you've taken a sabbatical and you have any tips that you want to share, please put that in the comments below.